righty. Welcome. According to Apple, it's 10:02, and I call this November 20th special Board of Selectmen meeting to order. And as a public service reminder, these meetings are always open to the public. They're meetings of the Board of Selectmen to conduct the ongoing business of the board. If you'd like to offer comment, there's an opportunity on the agenda to do so. When commenting, please state your name and title if applicable. If the meeting's interrupted due to disconnection, we'll do our best to resume no less than 30 minutes from the time of interruption. First item is our approval of our October 25th meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion from either board member.
Motion to approve the October 25th Board of Selectmen minutes.
Fantastic. I'll second that. Any questions or corrections, folks?
Nope.
All righty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks. Next item, we have the Park and Rec Director letter of resignation and next steps. Hi, Jared. Thanks for joining us from somewhere far away.
I'm not that far now.
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's not too far. Well, thanks for joining us from your vacation time.
4,500 miles in. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm actually really tired.
So we received a letter of resignation from Jared, and it is in the folder. He has in his letter, he's being quite generous and offering to stay through pretty much the end of the year in order to help with a transition. Jared, do you want to add anything to your letter? We obviously are going to end up needing to accept the letter of resignation, but I just wanted to give you a moment if you wanted to add anything, and if not, that's perfectly fine.
Well, no, yeah, I came on just because I wanted to thank everyone, and especially the community. It's been an absolute pleasure working with the people in this community, and kind of seeing everyone come together over Parks and Rec and really make some great things happen. And just wanted to publicly thank the commission for their support and for kind of getting on board with some of the more different and unique approaches that I had, and kind of once again banding together to do some awesome things. And then also wanted to thank you guys, the Board of Selectmen. It was a pleasure working with you all. And I know obviously I report to the commission, but I think Gene especially, we had a great relationship, and it was a pleasure working with you every day in town hall and sharing ideas and thoughts, and really seeing your enthusiasm for Parks and Rec. And I hope just how much it's appreciated. I know obviously you and Rufus are both on to bigger and better things, so I just wanted to wish you guys both the best. And it's been a pleasure. Obviously, Rufus, I worked with you closely on the commission, and I always appreciated your support and insight. And Gene, like I said, working together every day in town hall was fantastic, and you did so much great stuff for me, for Parks and Rec, and for the town. And Rufus the same. I hope you guys know, obviously I don't live here in Kent, but from an outsider's perspective, you guys all did a lot of great things, and you should be super proud of that. And I was happy to be a part of it for the time that I was here. So just want to thank you guys, and yeah, wish everybody the best, and I'll do what I can to help in the transition. I don't know how much the commission's going to want or not want from me, but I'm here to offer whatever I can, and hopefully really get somebody good in who can keep this all going, because I think we've done a lot of really good stuff, but I think we need a really good candidate who's gonna make sure that these things continue to go on. But once again, thank you guys, and Gene, Rufus, particularly you guys, all the best, and thank you for being so awesome to me, and for for all of your support and care and concern. So that's all I wanted to say, but thank you all.
Thanks, Jared, and
Yeah.
thanks for the kind words. Very much appreciated. And I'm I'm honored to have, sort of been the recipient of your professional, just your professional yet energetic, amazing work that you brought to this job. And I don't think we've seen Park and Rec looking so amazing. And so I feel like there's so much potential, and what you're doing by staying on this extended period is really just a testament to how you feel about our town, and wanting to leave it in a good place. And I apologize if I get emotional during this meeting, but hopefully you're all expecting that might happen.
I'd also like to add, Jared, that I thought the commission saw in you when we were hiring you, the potential that you have shown us, and the professionalism and the great character. What Park and Rec has done over the last 2 years really was the highlight of, and it's, I agree. I hope we find somebody else with the credentials and the vision that you had. So best of luck to you. You've made this a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been like I said, it's been a pleasure. The team effort, and Rufus, like I said, you and I, obviously we worked together, pretty closely through some of the tougher times on the commission, and certainly tough times for me. And I hope you know how much that made a difference, just knowing you were there with your support. Because there were some days where I was ready to run. I think everybody knew that a lot earlier. And Rufus, you always offered guidance and wisdom, and those things make a difference. And I hope you know how much it's appreciated.
Thank you.
And Jared, from my point of view, I mean, clearly you worked with Gene and Rufus way more than with me. And I was hoping that we'd get some time together moving forward. But I just want to say thank you for your energy, for your ideas, for everything. I mean, I loved seeing you work on the Golden Falcon Field there with the bingo, and the times that I saw you were pretty awe-inspiring. Actually, I loved your energy. So you will be missed, and I wish you well. And I'm certainly going to miss the Looney Tunes background you got there too. So.
Well, thank you. I didn't mean to leave you out, Glenn. I just knew obviously Rufus and myself we're all leaving. But no, yeah, it's been awesome, and you were always so supportive as well. And I know we always had a blast at the Golden Falcon Field. But I wish you, obviously, you and the Lynn and Marty, obviously all the best. And I'll be here for the next month, so hopefully I can help with introducing. Especially Lynn and Marty. Obviously, Glenn, you've already been in this, but introducing you guys to some of the things that Rec is doing, that the public doesn't always see. So
great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
So I will make a motion to begrudgingly accept the Park and Rec director's letter of resignation. So we can get through that piece of housekeeping. I just need a second on that.
And I will begrudgingly second that.
Rufus, Glenn, any other questions on the letter?
No.
All righty. All those begrudgingly in favor?
Fortunately, aye.
Thanks. Unanimous. So next steps, I did receive a recommended, some recommended changes from the Park and Rec Commission that I'd like to at least just put on screen share for a couple minutes. And both boards, I'm welcoming Lynn, Marty, and our board to just provide any feedback. And then I think we should just pass it along to the next board for them to, have another review and then approve that job description. Sorry, let me pull it up here. You all see that? You want me to make it bigger?
Lynn, I'm not Lynn. Sorry, Gene. I think the commission worked hard to try to get it to us so that we could approve it today, so they could move forward with looking for somebody. The commission talked about looking at some things in order to possibly change it down the road, but at this point in time, they felt it was more important to get the job search going. And it's essentially 99% of it is the way it will be, but they would like us to actually vote on this today so that they can move forward.
I'm
This,
amenable to anything, and Rufus, you're the liaison, so I defer to you. So thank you for adding that.
yeah, I would like to make a motion that we accept the Park and Rec job description as presented. So that
I'll
we,
second that so we can get to discussion, just to go over if you or Glenn have questions. So do you guys want me to leave the full red line on so you can see what it looks like, less taken out, but maybe moved around? So here we start, like this was taken, this was moved up to here. So just something to be careful of as we're walking through this.
this is, okay, yeah.
I can turn off the red line if you just want to see a clean version, but I wanted to be able to include what they changed so we could understand their thought process. And Mike, I'll invite you into this conversation.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So like you said, Gene, the vast majority was wordsmithing, just trying to make anything that wasn't as clear or concise, changes such as that, and then a couple small tweaks here and there, but not entirely different from the last version that was used to hire Jared.
Was there any, as I'm sort of flowing through this, was there anything content wise substantive or that was substantial? I can't get that word out.
I would say anything that I would consider substantial was, up top, changing the reports from just the chairman to the commission.
Sure.
We added a line about familiarity with the Freedom of Information law. That's down on the second page. And we asked you clarity about the safety committee, because that's something we weren't familiar with. But other than that, no, it's
sort of
very
cleaning up.
similar.
Okay.
Mike, where is that Freedom of Information line? Because I thought that was under administrative.
It was as of Wednesday's meeting, and then in Friday's meeting, we moved it down to job qualifications.
Ah, okay. I don't know if it's substantive, but we did at the near the top, under the the personnel, we added, or did that get changed to program aid? And it looks like we took out the recreational leader. Did that happen on Friday too?
That wasn't intentional.
Just to sort of capture that there's been some changes and proposed changes of personnel.
I think anybody, we includes but are not limited to, so there may be a few things that there are a few more things that we talked about changing down the road. again, it's minor stuff. But the basic skeleton of the job description is, like I said, 99% there. So,
Yeah, and it's in job descriptions, generally you want to stay more
general.
broad than specific. I'm
Yeah.
just going to turn the track changes off for a second so I can read the direct reports a little easier. Oops.
Dean, if you're able to open up the PDF version that I emailed you on Friday evening, that's the cleanest version and the one that we approved. And then I went back in and created the track changes version.
Okay.
But now I'm looking at it and I realized I didn't copy over the direct reports version accurately, but the easiest one to read and the one that we made the motion on is the PDF version that I emailed.
Hang on one second, I will get that.
Does the change of reporting to the commission and not the chairman align with the bylaws?
I'm not ignoring that question. I'm just bringing up the bylaws.
Screen share with the other document.
Hey, Gene, this is Marty. Rick just put something in chat regarding the delineation of 40 hours as minimum, not, expected 40 with comp time or extra. What's the board's view on that?
I can't. Oh, there's the chat. Sorry. Thank you. Hold on one sec. Well, we don't have comp time in the current structure of how we pay hours. Should you say usually or minimum of 40 to prevent the concept of expecting comp time after 40? Yeah, we don't have an official comp time policy or any normal comp time, flex time, that sort of thing right now.
Okay, but to prevent any issues with that in the future, maybe we need to make an adjustment. Mike Perkins, I don't know if you guys thought of that or what the commission view is on his hours or her hours, their hours for the PNR director.
We didn't feel that the director should be tied to any office hours or anything directly like that, because a lot of his time is spent. And I know Jared spent probably way more than 40 hours a week, but he's got a cell phone. People can get a hold of him. But the director is in and out of the building all the time. We don't want to tie him down to, oh, this guy is going to sit there in the town hall from here to here or whatever. So
that's not what's being asked. It's not what's being asked about office hours. It's about 40-hour work week or expected 40 hours per week of work. Doesn't matter really where it was. Mike, go ahead. Did you have something? I'm sorry.
40 hours is defining the full-time salary position for that. I think, you know, probably it's a 40-hour minimum, but, you know, in order to do the job correctly.
And it does have somewhat to do with budgeting and payroll. So that person is hired as a 40-hour per week employee, and that's what their payroll will reflect, and that's how the budget is reflected. But Mike, if you had insight, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't remember specifically discussing the 40. And what I can say is in the Constitution, it does have the language of minimum position includes a minimum 40 working hours. And then to go back to Joyce's question, the bylaws are consistent with the commission being as the reports too, because it lists that the Director of Park and Recreation duties are to supervise and maintain the recreation activities set forth by the Kent Park and Recreation Commission, and to pursue new activities which enhance the general program as directed by the commission.
Perhaps we should just insert the word minimum to address this. Just instead of just saying 40 hours per week, minimum of 40
That's
hours
fine.
per week.
I think that would,
I do think it's important because the town of Kent has different expectations for different jobs. So I think it's fine to just insert the word minimum.
I'm good with that.
I don't know if you can all see that. I just pulled the Word document back up, but it might not be visible. I'll add that word.
Jean, can you also change the spelling of seasonal?
Yep.
Thank you.
So in the and thanks for adding the employee of the town of Kent that the commission added there. In the reports to, so the intent of the reports to is the almost from an org chart reporting structure. And this is a Department of Labor slash, well, probably better suited for a labor attorney, but I guess the question that comes to mind is, I know that the Park and Rec director works with and provides reports to the commission, obviously. But as town of Kent employees, that person, from a labor reporting structure, really needs to report to a supervisor in the town of Kent structure. And then, I think it should be reports to the first selectman, the Board of Selectmen, and works with the Park and Rec Commission.
Okay. There
Because
is, yeah. So if you scroll down to the
Gene, we talked about
Okay.
it. And basically it reports to the commission on a monthly basis.
Right, that's
We're
yeah,
not
that's my point.
denying that, administratively, the selectmen are overseers of the town employees. So, but
Right.
He really reports to the Park and Rec Commission.
Right, he provides reports to, yeah.
Right.
So up top, because we've been standardizing this all the past number of years, so that no matter which job description you read, you know that the reports to and direct reports all mean the same thing across the whole spectrum of all the employees. So I think it should be put in that reports to, that there are, I mean, you could even move it down, move the employee of town of Kent down to reports to. But they all should, they should be consistent so that anybody picking up the job descriptions knows, just looking for I have them, but they're way over there. So that anybody who picks up the job description can understand the same meaning of all of these different sections.
Jean, I understand that formatting is important, but unfortunately, I think formatting of this document will slow things down. And we have a pretty unique opportunity of having Jared available if we can hire somebody fairly quickly. So I would suggest that that the board approve this document without formatting and then quickly come back and work on reformatting it, the selectmen reformat it to match the other ones. And then there can be another approval of it within a month and a half's time, something like that.
I kind of agree with that. I mean, that's what the commission was talking about doing anyway with some of the other changes
Right.
that the commission would like to see, but they're not that important. It's more important to get this
Get
process.
it approved. Yeah. So I don't have any issues with anything except for that from this job description. It now looks like the Park and Rec director does not report to the first selectman, that they report to the Park and Rec Commission. And that's taking the employer out of the mix. It has nothing to do with format. This actually isn't even the right template, which I was just going to put it all in the right template. But it's really the who the person reports to from an org chart standpoint. And I think it needs to, because they report to, Jared reported to me as I was his supervisor, which is an important thing from the Department of Labor standpoint, but we all know that they work with and have a reporting out to the commission. So it's a subtle but really important distinction, but I'm happy to, approve the job description changes that they've made, and then we can hand it off to you guys for, if you want to have further conversations about other pieces and parts.
My personal opinion is if the board, the current board thinks that is important to have the first selectman listed, I think you guys should change it and go for it. I understand what you're saying, Jean. I understand about the labor stuff.
As far as the chat goes, Jared wants to know if he can chime in on this.
Yes, and sorry, I have the people on one monitor and the screen share on the other monitor, and I don't notice the little tiny icon at the top, so I apologize with that.
And Donna has a comment as well, actually.
I don't think that relates.
It does relate if we want to be consistent.
Right.
No.
So let me let Jared contribute since he asked.
Yeah, just real quick, because then I do have to get going. But yeah, I wasn't consulted by the commission on the updates to this. But I'm gonna have to actually agree with Jean here. When I first started, I was actually told that I didn't need to have any interaction with Jean at all. And I think for an incoming director, that's confusing and can also lead to definitely some frustrations because not everyone is on the same page. So I think I don't know what the answer is. I can't say that. But when I started, I was really confused as to what the expectations were, because I'm being told one thing by the commission, another thing in speaking with Joyce, another thing in speaking with Jean. And I do think that that needs to be ironed out. As Lynn said, you guys really absolutely need to get this process started to get somebody in. So this may be something as time goes that you iron out, but I 100% agree with Jean that that needs to be in here and it needs to be clear, because you don't want an incoming director to come into the situation that I came into, which, if you all remember, was quite tumultuous and rather confusing. So I do believe that needs to be clear. Going back to what Rick said and what Marty said, I don't know what the answer to this is either, but I know that the whole thing is we don't have comp time policy. But you guys need to get one in place. Like I said, I wish I had been consulted by the commission to talk more to this, but you can't expect a director to work 60 hours one week when he has a major event and then say, well, sorry, you can't use any time the next week to take a Monday off. I'm not going to lie. I did that because I worked my butt off. But if you're going to have people who are nickel and diming the director, especially at the salary that we pay, which is not competitive at all with other salaries, and I can tell you that because I've been job searching, you're going to get someone who comes in who's very frustrated and who's going to leave soon, because there are weeks where you have program after program after program, you have a Saturday event, and then to say, well, tough luck, you're expected to be in on Monday after you just worked a crazy week. That is not how the municipal sector has come to operate in modern times. So I understand that the town doesn't have a policy, but I would urge the new Board of Selectmen to get a policy in place, because it will lead to frustration. For Parks and Rec is a unique position. You don't operate your 9 to 5 and then just leave your work on your desk and come back in on Monday morning. You're going to be working nights. You're going to be working weekends. You're going to be working 12-hour days, and there needs to be some give and take. And like I said, the commission was always flexible with me, and Rufus was always a champion of, it's a salaried position. Sometimes you work 60, sometimes you work 30. And I think that's a great mindset to have. But I know there was friction in town hall over the way that I worked my hours, and that can't continue because it's not fair to the person in the position. So I appreciate Rick bringing that up and Marty making sure that it was discussed. And I just wanted to lay those two things out there for you guys. Like I said, I don't know what the answers are, but I think they need to be clarified so that the next person in this position doesn't run into the frustrating issues that I ran into. But that is all, and I do have to go. So thank you guys all so much. Best of luck to the new board. Best of luck, Jean, to you and to Rufus. And you guys have been awesome. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, Jared.
Thanksgiving. Can I say something here? Because all of this isn't in the Google Drive. I'm seeing a lot of this for the first time, and I'm certainly not hearing this for the first time. I've heard these issues, and I see the need for the commission and for the town to move on this quickly. I understand that. I understand the need to get something approved today. However, hearing what I've just heard, I have a feeling that we need to get this right, that we have some issues here that need to be ironed out. And I don't know if we're going to be able to do that right now. So
I have to, Glenn, we need to get this position out there. We have to do it today.
Okay. All right, then
that's number one.
Then let's roll up our sleeves and do this. So what are we going to do about this?
So how about I just wordsmithed a sentence to update the reporting piece. This position reports to the first selectman for day-to-day operations and the Park and Rec Commission for programmatic and broad decision-making.
Well, I don't think you need to go into it like that, Gene. I think just it reports to the Park and Rec Commission, and it serves under the Board of Selectmen as an employee of the town. I think that's direct and
I gotta check that, Rufus. You've got to be specific. I mean, you're talking about a dual reporting, for one for the administrative side and one for the programmatic side. You can't leave it just like, you know, report here and then you report there, and then you'll figure it out later. You've got to be specific. And I think you really, your point about having to get it done quickly is understood because, you know, of the need to start the search process, publish the job description so people understand what they're hiring into, or at least they're responding to. I think if we, I would just recommend, since we are, and I've talked to the incoming board, and this is just my recommendation, Gene, that we go ahead and take the discussion we have today, postpone the actual approval of this until the 28th, which is going to be our first board meeting. And we get a chance to put all the correct wording in, make sure we've run it by everybody who needs to. And then at that point, we can look at the new board's responsibility for looking at things such as a comp policy and so on, or a reporting policy or a time policy. There's different time, work week time policies that can be put in place that might help address this as well. But that can all come on the back of this, of all the work you guys done already. But there seems to be a little bit more specificity that's not in here that we could spend the next 2 hours going over it line by line, where, you know, you've got other business to conduct. And I appreciate all that, appreciate Rufus, I appreciate the commission's work, but I think we can get this done for a couple of days after, you know, the Thanksgiving holiday, which is nothing is going to be done at that point, you know, I don't believe anyway, but it would be certainly high on our list. I think Lynn has made some great points, and I think, and of course, Glenn as well, coming from the board, that we can get this, you know, finalized here within a week and get ready back to work.
The
I
only
think
problem, Marty,
that's-
the only problem, Marty, is the Park and Rec has their regular meeting tonight, and they were, I think they were hoping to establish the search committee. So.
Well,
by
they can
not-
establish a search committee. There's no reason not to do that.
But they won't be able.
Um, Well, they won't. Yeah. Well, you want to spend the next couple hours doing it on meeting, or an hour, half an hour, whatever it is. That's fine. I mean, I'm just making a recommendation to Jean and her board of where we need to go. But you know, yes, I understand. Establish a search committee, and then, you know, the board actually getting this done right. So we publish it, and it's not going to be changed 3 times between now and whenever they actually do want to hire somebody for the position. That's just an observation. Just an observation. I'll agree with whatever the board
Marty,
wants.
you're not going to be able to solve all the issues that you just brought up, comp time, in one meeting anyway. And,
It's not
you
the
know,
plan.
it's,
I understand.
we need to start moving forward.
Wait, Rufus, I'm sorry, say that again. You just said that we can't.
I don't think, you know, you start opening up the can of worms of discussing comp time and how you're going to get that in. That's, you guys are not going to, you're going to start it at a meeting, but you're certainly not going to finish it at the same meeting.
But we're not going to do that here, are we?
But
No.
I mean,
really, why can't Jean's wording, why can't that work? It seems like that could work to me.
Can we see
Okay,
the wording
that's
instead of
fine.
hearing it?
Yep.
Can we
Give me
see
one.
it?
Yep. Give me one.
I need to see words here. I can't
I hear you. Hold on.
by just hearing things. Nothing's in the Google Drive, and I'm voting on something that I'm listening to. That can't happen.
Hold on one second. Sorry. It's easier if I put it over on my other screen. There we go. Okay, so here we are. Already can see the
Programmatic,
gray.
that's,
Make it much bigger.
you need something there. That's,
Trying to think of what I wrote. I was backspacing as others were writing to try to rewordsmith.
for program direction and development or something like that.
I like that. And he has to get approval from them too.
Hey, Jean.
Did somebody say my name? Sorry, I was typing.
Yeah, I did. It's Marty again. I think what you really want to do is the position reports to the first selectman for day-to-day administration.
Thank
Park and
you.
Recreation, commission for program operations and development and so on. The operations should remain with the Park and Rec Commission, and administration should, right? And that, leave it at, at that. That's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm good with that, and also keeping a minimum of 40 hours per week. As the document is 99, there is maybe, Marty, stuff you're gonna want to change and comp time and stuff, and I know the commission would like to look at this again in the next month or two as well, to fine line a few other items that the commission would like to change, but is not essential to the position.
So, Glenn, what was your motion that you made?
Regarding this,
Yeah.
I don't think I made one.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, no.
Okay,
There's no
I'm
perfect.
trying to wrap my brain around all of this. I'm not making a motion.
That's great.
No, not yet. Can I mention that Darlene just said something in the chat? The third selectman is a liaison, but right between, right? I mean, Rufus has been between
Yep.
between the Board of Selectmen and this commission. Does that have any bearing on anything? I mean, should there be anything in the wording about that?
We felt
No.
that that liaison was, part of the commission that, I mean, they get reported to during the commission meetings. It didn't
Right.
need to be stated.
Right. And it's, I think, because it's covered in the ordinance,
Okay.
and they don't, they're not day to day in the office with operations and with HR and understanding that all those pieces and parts.
Right.
So the two main issues here with this job description, the reporting to, Gene, are you okay with what you just wrote? I mean, you wrote it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Rufus, do you think that is accurate?
That's fine. That's fine. I'm good with that.
And would that be good with the commission itself? Do you think? Speaking, if you could speak for the commission.
Well, Mike is still
Is
on.
Mike-
Yeah.
But
Mike,
I would think that the
What do you
commission recognizes the fact that as an employee, he has to report to the Board of Selectmen administration.
Yes, and that's something that the commission, by adding the employee of the town of Kent, was trying to get across. So,
Right.
yeah, we're in agreement there.
okay, so we're actually good on that line. The compensation, yes, that's a much bigger issue.
Oh, comp time, you mean?
Comp time.
It's
I
a
mean.
salaried position. So from my point of
Right.
view, a director, the last thing you want to do is tie him to specific hours. He's a director.
Right. And also, there is no comp time program, comp time policy, which will be the next board's task to handle if they so choose.
Okay, the next board shall choose that.
So are we ready to make a motion to move this, to approve this, so that the Park and Rec Commission can tonight put their search committee together?
I would make a motion that we approve with the two changes that we've discussed and added in our wordsmithing.
You need to include Park and Rec
Park and Rec,
job description.
director's job description.
Thank you. I'll second that. All right. Any questions further? I think we've
No.
put this horse in a place. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So that will enable Park and Rec to put together their search committee. I'm gonna strongly urge Mike that we make sure that Lynn, as the selectman that will be your sort of direct connection with the board, that she be on that search committee.
Agreed.
Great. Any other next steps on this topic? Alrighty, hearing none. We're going to move on to number 4, rescinding of the Albin property gift. So that came in the form of an email. The attorney for Mr. Albin's heirs just simply informed me that they were rescinding their gift. And when he and I spoke on the phone, he said it had nothing to do with the town. They just decided to go in a different direction with how they wanted to handle that piece of property. So it was simple, unfortunate, but simple. Next is disband the streetscape committee. Mike Govel was hoping to be here. Scanning the room, but I don't see him. So with Streetscape 1 completely wrapped, we've received our grant funding, we had our ribbon cutting. That's the sort of culmination of the current Streetscape committee, and the funding for Streetscape 2 requires that the interaction has to be with town employees. So that's currently, it was myself, I would be replaced by Marty, the town treasurer, and the road foreman. So they will continue to move forward with the DOT and SLR. So we just need to disband the Streetscape committee and thank them for their time. And if needed, I will make that motion to disband the Streetscape committee with the boards and the town's great thanks for all the work that they did.
Second. I think that the reaction during the first phase mainly was the quality of the materials. That was sort of the uproar from Mike and a couple of the other people on the commission. So hopefully everybody will pay attention to that.
Well, it will
Thanks.
mostly still be on town, state highway, so we do whatever they say.
Did Mike give you an indication that he wanted to disband? I mean, was this something that
he said that he wanted to submit a final report, which I didn't see. I scanned my email quick this morning. I know he did, last I spoke with him, he did say that he was planning to be on the meeting.
So even if we disband, he still has they have a report that they'd still like to deliver?
They may or they may not. I don't know.
Okay.
If they do, we'll certainly send it out to the new board. Alrighty, I'm gonna scan for him one more time. I don't see him on there. Alrighty, so all those in favor of disbanding the Streetscape committee?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Unanimous. Next is the transfer of care discussion with the board members. So this is really just an opportunity for the 2 boards, the outgoing and the incoming, to just have a discussion about projects in the works, any pearls of wisdom, just to share insight from one board to another. I talked to a few of my colleagues around the region to see if any of them had done this, and none of them had done this. So hoping this will maybe start a trend. It looks like Mr. LaCava has a comment in the chat. So Greg is one of he's the first selectman up in Warren, and he's been a great colleague for the past few years. So just, I just wanted to have a quick discussion, and hopefully this will become a tradition of anytime the first selectman changes. I think it's a great opportunity to just share insights. So Marty and I met. Marty, how many hours? 6 hours, something like that,
At least.
over the course of 2 days. I'm just going to hit the highlights of my sort of hope for the new board as I pass some things along to you. And I know that there's been a lot of discussion because you all are going right into budget season, the capital budget. There are a number of projects, town hall projects, just a lot of different projects that I hope you all can spend some time digging into and getting those moved to a place where they're started and completed. The town hall generator was something, and COVID had a lot to do with that, but we also went back and forth with diesel or propane, but getting that generator project completed, it's fully funded, getting that completed and getting a new generator here so that we can, if ever the lights go out again, we can maintain, services to the community. Right now, it's very limited where the current generator provides electricity. So we have a lot of folks who are sort of dead in the water when the lights go out. So I think that would be a priority. I would recommend that as a priority project. There's about 40,000 for paint and carpet. Anybody who's been in town hall knows that we could certainly use some new carpet. I think, and again, these are projects that the people have funded and it's available. It'd be great to see those projects happen. There are a number of other park and rec projects. I know Park and Rec's working on them. Rick always has a lot of projects because he, has all the long-term, he's the big long-term project person. So capital, just if you can, and I know it's going to be hard because it's a freight train, but if you can just take a look at that and work together to get some of those projects moving forward. When it comes to budget, again, another freight train, it moves really quickly. And Barbara Herbst, I don't know if she's on the call or not, but Barbara Herbst she's going to be your go-to person. She's amazing at just keeping all the balls in the air. Use her, rely on her, ask her lots of questions. She really got me through my first season of doing municipal budgeting. And regardless of, I ran tens of $millions worth of budgeting open to buy when I was a retailer, and municipal budgeting is so different from every budgeting that I've ever worked on. So just be kind to yourselves, have lots of workshops, and use Barbara as your subject matter expert. And those, the organizations that we give money to every year, they supply an annual report to all of us. Take the time to read those annual reports because it really gives you that insight to why you're giving them this money. And while, one organization may only, a lot of them are regional, they may only serve a few clients in our town, but those clients are very much in need of those services. So even though the number may be small, remember we're a small town, and the bigger picture is that if these regional organizations weren't providing these services to all these towns, then we would have to individually provide these services to our town. And having that regional piece and that regional approach to a lot of these different services save us a ton of money. So just read those annual reports and really take a look at, usually they're flat, but if they ask for an increase, really We invited back a couple of organizations to come and sort of, give us some more insight as to what they do. And I think that resulted in a couple of increases. So it's important to just understand what all of these organizations do that you're giving money to. Taking a look at our health insurance, I think, is important. The state partnership plan has proven to be a money saver for the towns that have adopted the state partnership plan. It's high quality service. It's a high quality plan. I think it's at least important to truly take a look at that and see if you can find some savings. There are a number of other initiatives that I think, it's going to be hard to do a full deep dive, but I think it's important to pay attention to the details when it comes to the budget. Moving on to, EV charging, all of the green energy is so important. I think it's worth the investment to take a look into how can we bring more green energy concepts and options to our town. That may be money in capital, that may be putting money in the operations budget, but in the long run, with the governor's goals, we're adopting California's goals in parts of the future, the green plan going forward. It's important to look in the long term where we're going with this. And, every single car manufacturer is going to stop making gas and diesel powered vehicles in the next 10 to 20 years. So I think we need to start planning now, like right now, not waiting till it starts showing up more on the news cycles, but really start planning now for what that's going to look like for the town of Kent, which may include, changes in our fleets. Rick and I have fun conversations when I ask him if he would consider looking into electric dump trucks and electric snowplow trucks. Maybe not there this cycle, but we might be, because the industry is changing so rapidly. So I think it's important to really look at that green piece of what we can do for our town, because if we were a bigger town of, 3 times the size, everything, it's much harder to be nimble. Because we're so small, that's a great advantage. And I think you should leverage our ability to be nimble because we're so small. So I don't want to take up too much time. From a board perspective, Marty, be kind to yourself. I have, like I said, we've met for many hours last week. And I feel like we had a really good sort of turnover of care time. We got into much more weeds that I'll get into here, but not only, remember that it is 24/7, but, there are times where you just got to not answer the phone. Rely on your board members. You have 2 amazing board members. You've got the continuity and the institutional knowledge of Glenn, and you've got Lynn and my daughter grew up together. So Lynn and I have spent many hours doing a lot of different things. And she is a taskmaster. She has an incredible gift to be able to, take concepts and ideas and, hey, what about this? And do the research and turn it into, a cohesive strategy or something to bring back to the board. And also use, remember you have 20, I think, town employees here in the town hall and DPW who are just out there all the time in the snow and the freezing. Pete and Mike were in here this morning and I came in shivering and they were going back outside. So remember, you've got a ton of great people here and great people on your board, and all the boards and commissions, obviously, they are high functioning boards and commissions. And I've always been grateful to be able to know that they just do their thing. They get the work done. They are committed to, their missions. So those are my sort of pearls of wisdom. Rufus, you got anything, or Glenn, for transitioning?
I'll just say this, that I've enjoyed doing this, Gene. This has been great, Rufus. It's been an honor to serve the town with both of you on this board. I've learned a lot from both of you, and thank you really for everything. And I'm looking forward to continuing the good work with the new board, with Marty and Lynn, you know, so I truly, we put in so much work, so many hours, so much Zoom, so much other stuff, and you know, just thank you for all the work that you've done. And
It's been a pleasure to work with you guys. Rufus, words of wisdom. You could tell your future or your past self. Or share anything with the incoming board.
45 years of town work. I'm done.
That's all.
With the budget, the more you can support your reasons when you go to the Board of Finance. Otherwise, it's too easy. And I think Rick is the one who suffers the most, because a lot of his projects are big ticket items. And, you know, you can't keep pushing off. You got to bite the bull, you know, fight the bull that's charging at you. There's a balancing game. I mean, I spent way more time on the Board of Finance, and unfortunately, you know, you can't just hold the line with taxes sometimes. Anyhow, good luck.
All righty. Thanks, you guys. So we're going to move on to public comment. Oh,
Gene,
yes.
I just thank you all from the new board and all the people in town for your, and Rufus specifically, because you're leaving the board, and we'll beat on Glenn and continue to extract all the knowledge that he gained on the board. But you guys took us through COVID. That, you can't forget that. I mean, that through the whole, you know, the whole process in the garbage, it changed everything. And we're coming out of it, and you guys have led us out of it. And as difficult it may have been at times, and certainly as confusing and new groundbreaking things that have come out of that, I think the town's in a pretty darn good position. And you said that before during our turnover, that we're not in a bad position, just a lot going on and a lot to continue. But again, I just want to thank you for your turnover, the time you spent, the organization you had there to lay it out for me was stupendous. One of the best I've ever seen in my many years of taking turnover. And I think that will certainly help us as we move forward. And Glenn, we're so happy to have him continue with the board. You know, don't want to speak for Lynn, but I know we all really believe in the town and believe in the people that are here. And you guys, you and Rufus specifically, have been two of the stalwarts that have done your absolute best to bring us through, keep it going, keep smiling, keep a good personality going during all the times. And that's a testimony to you guys, but also to the town again, the type of people that are here ready to help serve day to day. So I just want to thank you as we go forward and show you that appreciation as you move on to your next adventure. So thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
And I'll just throw in that I echo Marty's comments. Thank you all very, very much.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate the kind words for sure. So moving on to public comment, I see Jim Brinton has his hand up. Mr. Brinton. Jim Brinton's the first selectman of the town of Washington.
Hi, Gene. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to, and I certainly don't want to monopolize your meeting, but I just wanted to come on and say thank you to Jean and her team of Rufus and Glenn. You know, our towns, Kent, Warren, and Washington, all share similar demographics, similar pains, similar challenges, and Jean and her team have just been phenomenal to work with these past 4 years. And I would extend to Marty, Lynn, and Glenn that same offer. We would often meet every other month with Greg LaCava. It's just, I found it extremely helpful to have colleagues that are going through similar situations to bounce things off of. And they were always productive get-togethers, whether they were for a coffee in the morning or a drink after work. So again, I just wanted to thank Jean and her team and welcome Marty and his team. And we're your neighbors and colleagues. Anything we can do to help, we're here. Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy. So
Thank you.
yeah, so Greg, Jim and I initially met because of Lake Warmog. So we have we share jurisdiction and projects, and over those 4 years, 4 years, we really grew this, not only a great friendship, but this camaraderie and collaboration where there were a lot of things that we worked on together that would have been the three of us doing it 3 different ways, 3 different times. Had we not got to know each other. We did that joint active shooter training a couple of months ago. That wouldn't have happened unless we had known each other and been having cocktails or coffee on those mornings or afternoons, generally on Fridays. But it was so great because it's easy for us, you come into town hall every day, you're coming in, you're doing your thing. And it's often easy to forget that you're the, part of a bigger picture. And they were able to, the 3 of us working together and creating this great collaborative spirit really enabled us to do some great projects together. And some I'll even be handing off to Marty. We're hoping that we can work through possibly doing a share for some transportation, a number of other projects, and more of that security stuff. They're very interested in working together. So thanks, Jimmy, for your kind words and coming on here this morning. Very much appreciate it, and all the wonderful pearls of wisdom that you always shared. And I think it's a sort of testament to just our focus on doing stuff together, that for, I don't know, it was probably the first 6 months I didn't know anybody's party affiliation. And it still didn't matter, and still to this day doesn't matter that Jimmy's a Republican. We never even talked about that stuff. So it was great not knowing, and I feel like I made 2 true friends, and I'm feel like the town is better for it, for sure. So thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you, everybody.
We'll see you for coffee in a couple of weeks. Do we have any other hands up? I don't see any other hands up. And I put public comment before the executive session. So if people wanted to just sort of hop off for the boring executive session, they could do that. Don't see any other hands up. So we will go on to number 8, executive session to discuss pending litigation and consideration of a potential resolution for this high watch tax appeal. I am going to make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss pending litigation and to invite Marty Lindemeyer, Lynn Worthington, Attorney John Tower, and Assessor Jen Dubray. John, am I missing anybody?
No, I think that's it.
Okey doke.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, I'll take a second on that motion.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We good to go?
Darlene is trying to enter. I'm not sure.
She's coming back in.
I'm not even sure she's at her desk, so I would just go ahead and move on.
Okay. So, under number 9, open session consideration and possible action on a pilot agreement and settlement of the pending litigation. I will make a motion that the town of Kent's first selectman be authorized to execute the proposed pilot agreement for a 3-year term on behalf of the town in settlement of the pending tax appeal litigation as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Thank you. I'll note Rufus on that. I think you guys were in concert. Any further questions from the board? Again, John, thanks for all of your time and work on this. Jen, thanks for all your time and work on this. And we will take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Terrific. Thank you. So we will move to adjournment, and, you know, before I again get emotional and adjourn, I want to just say thanks to everybody. I was hoping to have counted up the number of Zoom meetings we had, but didn't happen. I know it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. I'm remembering back to the first Zoom meeting that we had, thinking, oh, we'll only do this like, you know, 6 or 7 times, and then, you know, this will all be over and we'll go back to, you know, meeting in person. I do think that there's been, you know, greater availability for people to attend meetings and interact in meetings. So I appreciate the Zoom meetings. Hopefully we'll be able to still see some, you know, hybrid happening moving forward. But I am very grateful for the last 4 years through rabid foxes, cell tower applications where few wanted the cell tower, multiple lawsuits, a federal housing lawsuit. I sound like the Wizard of Oz. Oh my, obviously the pandemic was a total game changer with no playbook, budgets, storms, you name it. I feel like we hit a lot of the, checked a lot of boxes over the last 4 years. And, you know, I want to say to all the town hall employees, many of which are on here, that, you know, y'all keep doing what you're doing. Everybody knows their job. It's great that everybody knows their job, that there's no hand holding that needs to happen. And to the boards and commissions who may watch this recording, I'm so grateful for all of the volunteer hours that you all do year after year after year. I wish we could track that and count that up just to share with the town, because it's crazy how much volunteer time is committed in order to keep government running. And that doesn't happen in the bigger towns. It primarily happens in these smaller towns. So just a big word of thanks to everyone. But I will make a motion, and now I'm going to get weepy, sorry, to adjourn my final Board of Selectmen meeting with great thanks to all of you. It's been so great working with you and Rufus, Glenn, and hope that you take your institutional knowledge and rock on and go forward and support the board with, you know, all the stuff you have from the last 2 years. So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Seconded by Rufus.
Second.
Thank
Marty,
you.
Lynn, well done.
Glenn and I could join a choir. We're almost in sync.
I know you really were.
Well, thank you, Jean. Thank you for all your
I'd like to
years. Much
Absolutely.
appreciated.
All righty, let's
Good
take
luck.
a vote, because Joyce always turns off the recording quickly. All those in favor of adjourning this meeting?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
You.